What if I told you that the war happening right now in the west of Asia now was already fought and decided 1400 years ago? Not metaphorically, not as a vague historical comparison, but exactly step by step, with the same psychological warfare, the same economic blockade, the same massive coalition of superpowers, and the exact same turning point. Right now, if you turn on the news, you see what looks like an unprecedented situation. A small resistance axis, Iran forces in Lebanon, Yemen, and Gaza surrounded by most powerful military and economic coalition in human history. The United States, Israel, European powers, and quietly several wealthy Arab states. The media tells you this is a modern geopolitical conflict about borders, deterrence, and international law. They tell you it's about the Strait of Hormuz, or drone technology, or nuclear facilities. But if you look at this through the lens of the divine narrative, which we talked about in our last video, you'll realize something profound. You are not watching a new war. You are watching a reply of the Battle of Ahzab. And once you understand the laws of the battle, what we call it divine sunnah, you will never look at the news the same way again. Because the divine sunnah are unchanging laws of history. They dictate that when a certain condition are met, certain outcomes are guaranteed. To understand what is happening today, and more importantly, to understand how this ends, we have to go back to the year 627 AD, to the city of Medina, to the original battle of the trench. Let me set the scene for you. The early Muslim community in Medina was small, under-resourced, and completely surrounded. And they were facing something that had never been seen in Arabian Peninsula before, an alliance of every major fraction, tribe, and power center, all with one single objective: the total eradication of Islam. This was the Ahzab. The word literally means the coalition or the factions. It wasn't just Quraysh of Mecca, the dominant superpower of the region. It was the desert tribes, the wealthy financiers, and the internal factions within the Medina itself who were secretly negotiating with the enemy. It was a massive, overwhelming force of 10,000 heavily armed soldiers marching on a city that could barely muster 3,000 defenders. Sound familiar? Today we see the exact same structure. It is not just one nation fighting another. It is an alliance, a coalition. The United States provide the weapons, the funding, the intelligence, and the political cover at the United Nations. Israel executes the strikes. European nation provides the diplomatic support and interceptors missiles. And a certain regional states quietly allow their airspace to be used, their radars to share data, or their borders to remain close to the refugees. It is the modern Ahzab. And just like 1400 years ago, the strategy of the coalition is not just military. In fact, the military aspect is secondary. The primary weapon of the Ahzab then and now is psychological. In Medina, the coalition laid siege to the city. They cut off the food supply. They cut off the trade routes. They created the situation of a total economic strangulation. But more importantly, they launched a massive campaign of fear. They wanted the defenders to look out at the horizon, see the sheer number of the enemy tense, and simply give up. The Quran describes this moment with terrifying precision. It says, when they came at you from above and from the below you, and when the eyes shifted in fear and hearts reached the throat, and you assumed about God various assumptions. Think about that description. Hearts reaching the throats, eyes shifting in fear. This was the goal of the Ahzab, to create such overwhelming terror, such a sense of absolute hopelessness that the Muslim would surround from within. The internal hypocrites, the elites of the Medina who valued their wealth and status over the truth, started whispering. They said, God and his messengers promised us nothing but delusion. We are going to be slaughtered. We should make a deal. We should submit to the superpower of our time. Look at the media landscape. What is the primary weapon being used against the resistant axis? It is fear, the constant threat of overwhelming, unstoppable force. It is the psychological warfare that says, look at our aircraft carriers, look at our F-35s, look at our financial system. You cannot possibly win. You're isolated, you are sanctioned, you are surrounded. So just give up. Every news broadcast, every think tank analysis, every diplomatic threat is designed to create that exact same feeling, hearts reaching the throats. And just like in Medina, you have voices within the region, sometimes even within the resistance countries themselves, saying the exact same thing as hypocrites of old. We should compromise. We should make a deal. We cannot fight the whole world. We must accept the global order as it is. The satanic narratives, or we can call it the earthly narrative, relies entirely on this fear. It calculates power based only on material assets. Who has the most money? Who has the biggest bombs? Who controls the global banking system? And by that calculation, the resistance should have been crushed decades ago. But this is where the divine narrative changes everything. This is where the divine sunnah kicks in. In the middle of the siege of Medina, when the fears were at its absolute peak, when the starvation was setting in, and when the coalition was preparing to breach the trench, something extraordinary happened. The prophet was striking a massive rock in the trench with his pickaxe. Sparks flew. And in that moment of absolute darkness, he didn't talk about negotiating a ceasefire. He announced the conquest of the Persian and Roman empires. To the hypocrite, this sounds like madness. They were starving in a ditch, surrounded by 10,000 soldiers, and he was promising them the two greatest superpowers on earth. But to the true believers, the people who see the world through the divine narrative, this was the turning point, because they understood the divine sunnah. They understood that the moment of maximum pressure, the moment when the material odds are most heavily stacked against you, is the exact moment when the divine victory is closest. The Quran says, and when the believers saw the coalition, they said, this is what God and his messenger promised us. And God and his messenger spoke the truth. And it increased them only in faith and submission. They didn't see the massive army as a sign of defeat. They saw it as a prerequisite for victory. Because the divine sunnah dictates that true victory only comes after the test of absolute steadfastness. You have to prove that you will not bow to the fear. And how did the battle of Ahzab end? It didn't end with a massive, bloody military confrontation. It ended with a shift in the environment. A freezing wind came in. The coalition's tents were uprooted. Their fires were blown out. Their horses and camels were terrified. But more importantly, their alliance began to fracture from within to the mistrust and suspicion. The psychological fortress of Ahzab collapsed before the military forces even fully engaged. They packed up and left. The siege was broken. The massive coalition dissolved into nothing. Now bring this back to today. Look at the past 30-day war we just witnessed. Look at the massive coalition that was assembled, the aircraft carriers deployed to the region, the missile defense system activated, and the diplomatic pressure applied across the globe. The goal was to break the will of the resistance, to create that the hearts reaching the throat moment, to force a surrender. But what actually happened? The resistance didn't break. Despite the assassination of the key leaders, despite the bombing of civilian infrastructure, despite the intense economic pressure, the people remained in the street. The rockets kept firing. The Strait of Hormuz became a choke point for the global economy. And slowly, if you see carefully, the modern Ahzab begin to fracture. We are seeing the internal division within Israel, with the politicians turning on military leaders, and so on and so forth. We are seeing the political exhaustion in the United States, where the public is turning against the endless foreign wars. We are seeing the economic cost, $32 billion in just 26 days and counting, becoming completely unsustainable for the Western alliance. The freezing wind is blowing through the modern coalition's camp. The psychological fortress of the Western invincibility has been pierced. The world saw an American aircraft carrier, the ultimate symbol of the global hegemony, turn off its tracking system and hide. They saw the Iron Dome overwhelmed by inexpensive drones. They saw that the most advanced military technology on Earth could not break the will of the people who operate within the divine narrative. This is the power of the divine sunnah. It doesn't mean you won't suffer. It doesn't mean you won't lose leaders or face economic hardship or endure bombardment. The Muslims in Medina suffered terribly. They were cold, hungry, and terrified. But it means that if you hold the line, if you refuse to accept this narrative of fear and material supremacy, the coalition against you will eventually collapse under its own weight. It is a mathematical certainty in the divine equation. The Battle of Ahzab wasn't just a historical event. It was a God showing us exactly how the final confrontation between truth and falsehood would play out. The coalition gathers. The pressure reaches its absolute peak. The hypocrites expose themselves and demand surrender. And the believers hold the line and look past the immediate danger. And then environment shifts. The alliance fractures and the path to global victory is open. In the Medina, the survival Ahzab siege led directly to the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, which led directly to the peaceful conquest of Mecca. The siege was a catalyst for global expansion. By surviving the coalition, the Muslims proved they could not be destroyed, and the balance of the power shifted permanently. Today, the survival of the resistance against the modern Ahzab is the catalyst for expansion of believing horizon. It is a waking up millions of people around the world. People who may not be Muslim, but who recognize courage, who recognize truth, and who are desperately looking for an alternative to the oppressive global order. They are watching a group of people who refuse to bow to the empire of money and weapons. And they are asking themselves, what do these people know that we don't? What is the source of this unbreakable will? That is the true victory, the awakening of the global conscious. We are living in the final stages of the modern Ahzab. The trench has been dug. The sparks are flying from the pickaxe, and the empires of today are beginning to fall, not just militarily, but morally and psychologically. But there is one specific element of this war that the Medina is completely ignoring. A shift so massive that is fundamentally rewriting the rules of global power. It is not happening in the sky. It's happening on the water. And it involves a $2 million toll that is quietly breaking the back of the American empire. This is what we are going to cover in our next video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.